the sugar acid clock, and tooth decay. The tooth decay process, when sugar is eaten and converted into acid by bacteria, which damages the tooth enamel. Saliva removes acid, taking 40 minutes, and then saliva repairs and heals the tooth, taking hours. So sugar is our teeth's enemy, and saliva is our teeth's friend. Things that favour tooth decay is sugar consumed too frequently and sugar consumed for too long. And the process of saliva removing acid is interrupted, and the saliva repair process is interrupted. And things that favour tooth health are the opposite. Today we are looking at the sugar acid clock and the saliva repair time. So what is the sugar acid clock? So we measure the time taken. For example, chocolate sugar is consumed over 10 minutes, and in the mouth, acid is made from sugar by the bacteria, and this causes acid damage over 10 minutes. The person has stopped eating sugar, so there is no additional acid produced, but acid remains from the sugar eaten previously, and it remains for 40 minutes to continuously cause acid damage to the tooth. This is because saliva is slow and needs 40 minutes to remove the acid from the tooth. So until this acid is removed, this acid causes extra damage to the tooth, even after you have stopped eating the sugar. So the sugar acid clock is the time of acid damage from consuming sugar, chocolate in this example of 10 minutes, to the tooth, plus the time of acid damage until saliva removes all the acid from the tooth, which is a fixed 40 minutes. To give the total acid damage time to the tooth, which in this example is 50 minutes, which is the sugar acid clock. What is the saliva repair time? The saliva repair time is the time taken for the repair of these acid holes, acid damage by the saliva, and it's a fixed time of 120 minutes. So we can show this sugar acid clock over 24 hours, and one sugar intake with the 50-minute sugar acid clock and the saliva repair time of 120 minutes, followed by the tooth being safe again. We will need this information when we look at the food diary. So we have a food diary as an example. Can you identify the sugars? Now we will do a sugar acid clock analysis. So having pancake with jam and orange juice over 10 minutes, plus the acid damage time of 40 minutes for saliva to remove this acid, gives us a 50-minute sugar acid clock and a saliva repair time of 120 minutes. At 11 o'clock, we have dates and tea with sugar over 10 minutes, but dates are a sticky, sugary food stuck on your teeth. This stays on your teeth even after you have finished eating and causes hours of sugar acid damage, unless you clean and floss your teeth after eating sticky food, so you don't get hours of damage. And in your food diary analysis, we need to identify sticky, sugary foods, because this needs flossing immediately after eating to avoid hours of damage. So we have flossed our teeth immediately after eating sticky food, plus the 40 minutes of acid damage, because saliva takes 40 minutes to remove this acid, gives us a sugar clock of 50 minutes. And then we need 120 minutes of saliva repair time. But this saliva repair time has been interrupted because of tea with sugar at 1 o'clock. So having another sugary meal before saliva repair of 120 minutes does not allow the saliva to repair the acid damage to the tooth from the previous sugar intake. So we have a 50-minute sugar acid clock for the tea with sugar, plus a 120-minute saliva repair time, and a time when the tooth is safe. Then at 6 o'clock we have another sugar intake, having the sugar consumed over 30 minutes, plus the acid damage time of 40 minutes for saliva to remove this acid, and a 120-minute saliva repair time. But again, this saliva repair time is interrupted by having tea with sugar at 8 o'clock. So the sugar acid clock for the day is 219 minutes, with saliva repair time interrupted twice. And if we turn this diary the other way round, then we have lots of sugar acid red zones and interrupted saliva repair zone, compared to one sugar intake in a day where you have a small red zone of a sugar acid clock, a full saliva repair zone, and lots of green zone where the tooth is safe. So the longer total time for acid on the tooth and more interrupted time for saliva repair means there's a greater chance of tooth decay. So one solution is to remove sugar, for example from the tea. So doing the sugar acid clock analysis for the day, we get a sugar acid clock for the day of 170 minutes, whereas before it was 290 minutes. And we get saliva repair time uninterrupted, so you get full repair of the acid damage to the tooth. You can also replace sugar with a sugar substitute or bunch sugar items together to reduce your sugar acid clock. So a shorter time for acid on the tooth and uninterrupted time for saliva repair means less chance of tooth decay. Here is a summary. Thank you for watching.